Hello, hello. I'm just looking for one other card. Here it is. I realized I was going to need. And now the hot flashes are going to come. Yepper. Okay, coat off. Hello. Well, this is going to be one of those days where everything is going to be difficult. Okay. All right. Here we go. Hi. At some point, come on. Come on. Oh, there it is. It wasn't showing up on my own channel forever. Hi. Oh, I know this isn't muted. It wasn't showing up on my own channel forever. Okay. All right, here we go. Live chat. Hello. How is everyone? How are you all? I hope you are all well. Yeah, I'll leave that right there. Okay, let's see who's here. Hi, Jess. Hi, Stephen. Hi, Mel. Hi, Emma. Hello. Michelle Erskine, hi. Courtney, hi. Angelica, hi. Dana, hi, sweetheart. Okay, so hi. I quit this week already. It's what is today? Tuesday. Oh yeah, duh. Tarot Tuesday. But it is March 1st. So I'm telling you, it's got to get better. It has to get better. I'm like willing it into existence that it's going to get better. Has to. Right? Fatima, hi, honey. So how is everyone? Happy Tuesday. I am so glad you're all here. I was supposed to go on for those. February is over. Yes, I know. It really needed to be over a lot for a lot of us. So I'm very, very, very glad that it's March 1st. Yeah, February was just ridiculous. And so it needed to end for sure. Just called my boss to add time to my paycheck since I'm on vacation and wondered why he was working and not the other supervisor. Oh yeah, it's his shift. Yay. Hi, Jay. So yes, it is March 1st. Thank goodness. I keep meaning to use my my Witch's Date book more because I'm terrible at keeping track of stuff, and so I was going to start to bring it out and talk about what kind of day it is. So today is Tuesday, March 1st. Today's color is red. Llewellyn does this color thing. New moon is tomorrow. Yes, it is the last sliver of the moon. The new moon is, well, technically the dark moon is tomorrow. It's actually tonight at like 12:36 or something, our time, I believe it is. What most people call the new moon is actually the dark moon that you can't see any of. They call that the new moon, and really it's the dark moon. And the new moon isn't until you can see a little sliver of it, but I know, I'm telling you. Hi, Wiley Kylie. Yes, I'm not ready for daily savings time. I know, my body doesn't like it either. And that tomorrow is actually Ash Wednesday. It's so funny now that I don't practice Catholicism anymore. It's like I kind of forget where they're at. Yes, tomorrow's. And then, so we are in the month of Ostara. So you'll start to see Ostara videos and stuff. We'll start doing Ostara videos very soon. So, first of all, I hope everyone is well. at least February's over. We're getting ready to move on, right? This topic, pathworking, is a topic that I really enjoy. I like doing pathworking. I like meditating with the tarot. We're going to talk about a couple different methods of pathworking with the tarot. And yes, please, for Ostara sales. Yes, because we only have like another 2 weeks to ship stuff out for Ostara. We kind of stopped shipping stuff for Ostara by the 3rd week of March. We really stopped shipping stuff for Ostara, especially because I am going on vacation the 22nd, I think. I'm going to see my dad for the first time in 5 years in North Carolina. And hopefully Dana and I will be able to get together and say hello. And so, yes. Okay. I know. I can't believe it's already Ash Wednesday. It seems like, how the hell did that happen? All right. So there is a couple different ways that that you can pathwork. There's a couple different things that that count as pathworking. That people talk about when they talk about pathworking that people are doing. And I wanted to go over the differences so that if someone said to you, this is pathworking, you can say, yes, I've heard of that, and this is what I know it to be. I also wanted to talk about, there are people who will say that something isn't pathworking. So we'll talk about it a little bit into in a minute and get to what is and isn't and technically whatever. Who says you could have a vacation? I know. Well, I'm telling you what, my dad, Peter and I, I'm trying to think. We were still living at my grandparents' house. So it was a couple years ago, 3 years ago probably. Peter and I wanted to pay for my father to come up here. I'm not going to get into this. Stop it, Judd. Squirrel. But he couldn't make the trip, or he decided he couldn't make the trip or something, and so I can't believe it's been 5 years. 5 years. That's how long it's been since I actually went down to see him, and that seems unreal to me. Are Jim not hijacking your lives again? No, we'll just be taking a break probably. Question about buying from the shop. Does PayPal automatically correct the currency change? Yes, they do. They do. Yes, they do. Absolutely. PayPal will tell you how much you owe, for sure. Yes. I had thought that too. Yes. Notebook readies. Okay, here we go. So pathworking. Let's talk about pathworking. Let's talk about what it is. Let's talk about what some people say it isn't and why. So it's a concept that came from Kabbalah. And I guess first probably let me talk about what the actual definition of pathworking is, because it comes from Kabbalah. It's a concept that comes from Kabbalah. It is no, go away. It's a practice that involves the tree of life. The tree of life is based on the idea that each of us is like a mini universe. So, mini-me, what's the guy's name? Michael Myers. And Mike Myers. And he has a mini-me. The tree of life is based on the fact that we all are little mini tree of lives. Okay? We are like a microcosm of the macrocosm that is the universe. Austin Powers, exactly. The key elements and patterns of the universe are reflected in us. All the cyclical things that happen in the universe happen to us. So, when I love to teach about the wheel of the year and how those cycles are reflected in everything that we do, That's kind of the same concept. It's a microcosm of what the tree of life is in Kabbalah. Okay. The tree of life has 10 energy centers, which are called Sephira, and each Sephira, each energy center, so 10 different energy centers. Each Sephira has a path between them. Okay. So each one has a path going to that one, going to that one, going to that one. So you can imagine there's 10 paths going to each one, because it each can connect to each energy center. Okay. So far, so good. I know this is, I try not to teach, I don't teach much about the Kabbalah because I don't follow Kabbalah normally. So I don't want to confuse anyone, but this is important just because I don't want people to be able to come to you and say, that's not really what pathworking is. So this is why I'm explaining this, because you may get those people that say, no, actually, that's not pathworking. So because of that, I try to give you an actual definition of what it is. The shape is on 10 pentacles. Yes, exactly that. Okay. Okay, the path is called the Sephiroth. Every Sephiroth and every path, nope. Sephiroth is pronounced Sephira, yeah, and is singular. Each one has a path between them, and every path has a tarot card assigned to it in Kabbalah. So the entire organization of Kabbalah, their tree of life, every path has a tarot card assigned to that path, which makes it's pretty interesting. It's cool how they do that. They really work the tarot into every path of their existence, which is cool. Minor arcana tarot cards, including the court cards, correspond to the energy centers. So pathworking in the Kabbalah concept is considered a magical act where you use the mechanism of visualization, kind of a meditation. Okay. Hi, Mark. To step into the major arcana card and astrally travel to the path that the card embodies. So let's use an example, because we're going to be talking about the Hermit card. I'm going to do a meditation with you on the Hermit card specifically. So let's say this is one of those paths is represented by the Hermit. Okay. This is one of the paths between the energy centers. And pathworking, as far as the Kabbalah is concerned, is when you take that path, the Hermit path, and you step into that path and you astral travel directly into that path. It is not considered just a meditation or just a visualization. In Kabbalah, the belief is you are actually going to this place that exists on another plane. You are astral traveling to this place. In Kabbalah, it is an actual travel. You're going there. Okay. So the belief is you're going to these places spiritually and traveling that path from one energy center to the next. It's part of the spiritual development, a part of your enlightenment process that happens as you work your way up the tree of life in Kabbalah. Visiting each one happens to be as a process of the pathworking, but the pathworking itself is focused on the major arcana, and because that is what's in the path. Each of these paths between energy centers, the 10 energy centers, has a card assigned to it. Okay, so that was super confusing, and I'm sorry to confuse you so early, but I wanted you to know that because there are people, when you say, oh, I'm path working with tarot, that will say, oh, well, that's not really path working. Okay, well, again, the gatekeeping thing that I can't stand. But in order to prevent that for you, I just wanted to briefly explain that a little bit so that if that happens to you, you can say, well, yeah, I know, I've heard that. I understand what you're talking about, but this is how I do path working. And that's perfectly okay. Again, don't let gatekeepers, are they saying that the way you just described is, yes, that is they say that is the only way to path work. That if you do not believe that you are actually spiritually astral traveling to this path between those energy centers, then that's not actually path working. If you just believe, like we're going to do a meditation on the Hermit card tonight, if you just believe that meditation is path working, then you're incorrect. And you may find some gatekeepers will say to you, oh, well, that's not really path working. Exactly. This is my response. Mine too. Absolutely. I just want to make sure that you guys are aware of that so that if somebody says that to you, it's not out of left field. You don't go, well, I was told that's what path working is. It's not that. Oh my gosh. Well, now I feel stupid. Don't feel stupid. Just know that in Kabbalah, it's a very specific thing, and that's okay. I am not going to teach you how to do that because I am not a Kabbalah teacher. I'm not, I do not practice Kabbalah. I try to gain some insight and wisdom, but I just want to make sure you're aware of that in case that happens to you. Okay. All right. So we're going to set that part aside. And now we're going to talk about path working as a part of your practice, path working as a part of meditation and visualization and manifesting good things in your life. Okay. Set that part aside just for now. Now, I have people tell me that if I can remember talking while I sleep, that I'm dreaming versus astral traveling, which part of me thinks is crap. Yeah. I hate when people try to tell you this is what you are experiencing. And if you try to say it's something else, if you use a term incorrectly according to what I believe, then you're incorrect. Because again, that's somebody saying to you, your practice, the way that you practice and the way that you know to be true, that's not really right. I have you on the big screen. Uh-oh. You can see every little pore, can't you, Hexen? Okay, so you guys know I hate that. I hate the gatekeeping, but I wanted to put that out there in case that happens to you. You can say to them, okay, yes, I understand on Kabbalah. It's actual, it's a very specific astral travel. That's fine. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about path working as it relates to manifesting what you want in your life. Oh, well, thank you, Mel. Okay. So let's talk about what when I say path working, this is what we're going to talk about. Okay? Deal. It is. I always, when I talk about path working, I do say it's a concept that came from Kabbalah because it does. That's where people got the idea of it for. It's similar to the process of a journey or an astral travel. It's similar to guided imagery or visualization. It's a voyage into your subconscious mind. It's deeply wholesome. There is nothing wrong with it. There's nothing bad to it. It is a great practice. It helps you kind of draw the energy from the card that you've chosen and be able to use that energy to perform specific actions to achieve something in your true life, in your real day-to-day life. So when you are doing this, you are going to pick a card and you have already thought about, okay, what I want to try to manifest for myself in my life right now is, and name it, whatever that is. And it should be fairly specific. We are not talking about, peace on earth, even though we would all love to have peace on earth. We are talking about, like, for me, I am going to talk about tonight we're going to talk about the path of the hermit. When we do a visualization together, I chose the hermit. And I chose the hermit because the hermit should teach us something about how we view ourselves and how we trust our own understandings. And so if that's what I wanted to manifest in life, then I would find a card that spoke that to me, and we would begin the pathworking process. Okay, so the first part of pathworking is to decide what it is you are trying to manifest in your life. What thing is it that you want to focus on in the near future? Prosperity, abundance, a new job, a new house, a new love, a better understanding of your own spirituality. There's like a zillion things, but pick one fairly specific to focus on, and you're going to go through your decks and kind of find the card that you think, you know what, this is the card that I think is going to embody that the best. Now, I will tell you, weight loss, perfect. Yes, yes, yes. Manifest a safe and healthy place for my dog and I to live. Perfect. Perfect. I will tell you that it is a lot about the picture that you see in front of you. I'm going to go through several decks. I pulled some great pathworking cards. And one of the things I can tell you is that it doesn't always necessarily go along with what the meaning of the card is, which can then kind of be confusing sometimes. But if you see a card, let me see. If you see a card that you think, oh, that's no, not all pathworking is on the majors. Absolutely not. Some decks you will find the major cards are much easier to feel like you can pathwork with. I have found some decks that I like the minors way better. Since I don't know the tarot that well, what card would be good to represent weight loss or close to that reference? Well, Danny, this is what I'm saying. Sometimes, and I'll talk about a little bit about, okay, if you're talking about weight loss and stuff like that, you might want to look at the Hermit might be a good one. The Strength card might be a good one. There's several of the cards, I would say maybe the Eight of Cups might be a good one in some decks. It's going to be about the picture that you see. And it's not necessarily always the meaning of the card. And where is the card that I'm looking for that's going to talk about that? Damn it. What was I going to use as an example of that? Fuck. Wait. I have it someplace right here. Was it this one? No, it was this one. Okay. As an example, let me give you an example. Temperance. Oh, temperance. That would be a great one for a lot of people. A lot of different decks will have a great temperance card that will relate to weight loss for sure. All right. So this card here, this is from the Silver Witchcraft Tarot. Okay. Now I'm going to try not to show you the label of the card, because I just want you to look at that card and see what you think if you were to jump inside this card, if you were to meditate and put yourself either as one of the two people in the card or jump into the situation and be standing in front of this scene. Can you see what kind of energy you would feel about this? So for me, when I look at this card, I see the cycles of a woman's life, the connectivity, the connection between the tree and the bunny, the hare, and the maiden and the crone, and the gorgeous roots of the tree in the river, and the sunlight coming through and just peeking through the edges of the branches of the tree. Light and dark growth. Yes, 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 yes. Now, so if I were to pick this card, it would be for the balance in life. Yes, the understanding that all life goes through cycles. So if my manifesting for today was, I want to try to learn that when things happen sometimes in my life, I need to step outside of the pain of it and understand that sometimes in the cycle of things, I'm learning a lesson. I need to remember that there's a lesson in this someplace, and that my connection to the growth of the earth, the sun, the river, the older people in my life, the younger people in my life, the animals, that will help me to feel those connections and to learn something rather than flip out and cry and go through stuff. This is what I want to learn. Okay. Does that make sense? Self-confidence, body shaming. Yes. No one is perfect. So ready? This is funny. Hi, Tyler. This is funny because this card is actually the Five of Pentacles. And the Five of Pentacles is not really about anything really a little bit that I just talked about. The Five of Pentacles is the card usually on Rider-Waite that has the church window and the beggars outside in the cold and snow. So it does not have to necessarily feel the meaning, feel like what you want it to feel like. It just has to be the image that if you step into that image, you can say, oh, yes, I think this will teach me about manifesting that thing that I'm looking for. They're not in the picture. For this deck, it's, I like this deck because it's much more about the connections to everybody. Hi, Laura. So, again, it doesn't necessarily have to be the card that the meaning of that card goes along with what you're trying to manifest. It's more about, can you see yourself in that image? Does that say to you whatever that goal is for your manifestation work? Okay? So let's start to talk about a little bit about, let's look at some cards and say, okay, what kind of manifestation do I think this card might be good for? Can we do that? Do the artists consider pathworking when they are designing the cards? Good question, Jess. I assume that some artists do. And you can see there's some artists that are much better than others. I have a bunch of decks that, as far as I'm concerned, are crap for pathworking. I would not use them for pathworking ever. And I have some decks that I only use for this kind of thing because on a different level, I don't connect to the meaning of the card a lot of times, but the imagery is perfect for jumping into the card and working that manifestation stuff, which is wisdom. There you go. There you go. Perfect. All right. So I'm going to show you two cards that I pulled out to say specifically, I don't think I would ever pathwork with these two cards. Now, they're both from decks that I love to pathwork with, but these two cards specifically, I pulled out to say, yeah, I'm never going to jump into this card to pathwork with this card. And I want you to tell me why. Ready? This specific card, I love. This is from the Modern Spellcaster. Yeah, bees. This is from the Modern Spellcasters Tarot, which is one of my favorite pathworking decks. I love this deck for pathworking, but this card in particular, I am never going to jump into for pathworking, because if I did that, I would be expecting to be stung a million times. And there's idiots with sticks blindfolded swinging around all over. Right? So this is a card that I would say probably, for the most part, you are never going to use this card for pathworking. Never. I would like to pre-request that any and all questions that Jess asks you, I am privy to both question and answer. She's got good questions, right? Okay, so that's the first one. Here's the second one. The second one comes from my Alice Tarot from Baba Studios. Again, a deck I absolutely adore pathworking with. It's a deck that's very easy to jump into, to see like the imagery of the card, to feel what you would feel if you're in the card. So this card is one I will never use for pathworking. This happens to be the Page of Swords in the Alice by Baba Studios deck. And so again, you can see why this may be a problem for pathworking. I do not want to put myself in the position that I am fighting the Jabberwocky. No, thank you. See the dead bodies down here, the skull and bones, and yeah, I think I'll pass on that one. This is not a card that I want to put myself in that position to learn much of anything. Now, maybe if you're trying to be a knight in your own world or something, but this is a dangerous position. This is probably not the best card to pathwork with. Dragon food, right? If you put yourself as the Jabberwocky, yeah, and you're right. And you're right, Mel, that could be. Except me being an empath, I, of course, suddenly, the Jabberwocky would turn into a tame little kitten and go, oh, it's okay. I'm not going to eat you. I just look like I kind of am a bitch. So probably I still would not use this card for that. Okay, so that gives you an idea of cards that we wouldn't use. Again, there's tons and tons, and I've just pulled, I don't know, maybe 5 or 6 different decks out to say, okay, what kind of situation can we see? Now, when we talk about pathworking, we're talking about meditation, astral travel, guided traveling, lucid dreaming. We're talking about putting yourself into this card. I like to put myself into this card and look around at the things I can't see on the edges of the card. That helps you to really put yourself in that situation. Here we go. This is the Fool from that same deck. So what a great card. I like to use cards that I can see the season that we are in. Like you can see there's a lot of growth on the trees. So I'm guessing this is probably early summer. I can see the terrain. I can feel the temperature. I can smell kind of some of the things that are coming in from the slight breeze. I can feel the warmth of the sunlight that's coming through the trees. You can feel the mossy, cushiony. Yes, you can see a full 360. There you go. Exactly. Down the rabbit hole we go. Yes. And right as I look around, yes, like, yes, absolutely. That's pathworking. Okay. That is definitely pathworking. That is a part of pathworking for sure. So use a card that you know when you jump into this card, you can see beyond. Can you see what's over here? Can you see what's over here? Can you see what's up here? Can you see what's behind us, back over where I am? Use a card that you feel like you can jump into this card and look all the way around and use your 5 senses. Does it trigger your 5 senses? Can you smell anything there? Can you see stuff that's beyond the card? Can you feel tactilely? Can you feel? Can you hear? Like I can hear a creek over on this side gurgling. I don't know if there's actually a creek in this card or not, but I know there's one in my mind. If I'm pathworking this card, there's a creek over here and I can hear it gurgling. Okay. Would you ever enter a card in order to hang out with the character? Yes. Oh, so much yes. Yes, yes, yes. As a matter of fact, that's one of our examples we're going to use tonight. We'll talk to the hermit. We're going to talk to the hermit. Would you always start with a goal? No, not always. Although it's the way we're talking about it tonight, it's a form of manifesting what you want in your life. So in that aspect, yes, but there are a million times that I have looked at a card and gone, oh, I can see. I'm going to go do a meditation with this card and see what I can learn. For sure. Always. Yes, yes, yes. Just see where it takes you. Absolutely. For sure. Okay. So there's another one. I'm going to go through like maybe 5 or 6 cards from each deck. Try to do it really quickly. I have always, who among us has not wanted to sit in front of him and see what he has to say to us? Right? That's a good example of what you're talking about. Interact with those characters. What do you do when you enter a card and find a danger you didn't see? Do you fight or back out? It's up to you, Laura. It's up to how you feel. Don't ever put yourself in a dangerous position if you feel like you don't know what the outcome is going to be and it scares you. Back out. Don't put yourself in that position. If the goal was you want to put yourself in a position that you have to fight your way out of, and you are still aware that you're able to back out, then that's okay. As long as don't ever put yourself in a position that you feel you can't get out of. I've always wanted to get high with him, right? Absolutely. Tyler, I agree. Me too. I've always wanted to see what does he say to me? I love the background of this card because to me, the caterpillar here, he is creating with his smoke, he's creating some of those backgrounds, right? It's funny, in our circle group, we were just talking about this kind of mushroom and how it gives you hallucinations and stuff, and you can use those mushrooms. Well, I don't recommend that. Don't go out and buy these mushrooms or go out and find these mushrooms and eat them without supervision or anything, but yes. Yes, yes, yes. Okay, so there's another one. Here's a good example. This is the death card. Fairly dangerous situation. I just want to sit on a mushroom, but then I saw the kind of mushroom. Yes, yes, right? This is the death card in that deck. Fairly dangerous situation. Here we have the Queen of Hearts yelling at you. However, if you want to learn to stand up for yourself more, this might be a good card to jump into and tell the Queen exactly where to go and why and how, and maybe conspire with some of the suit cards, right? You can create that whole story, and what you're manifesting is what you're going to get out of that story. Now, here's the other thing. Sometimes you don't know what you're going to manifest. You just know. I've picked up cards before and thought, okay, I really need to pathwork with this card because I know it has to teach me something. I don't always necessarily know exactly what. Sometimes you find out after you're in there. That's okay too. Here's the star card. That's a super easy one. I love in this card, look at the eye in the tree. This is her sister who fell asleep outside the tree. See the character in the background here, the lake. You can smell, you can hear the wind, just a gentle breeze. right? Can you guys see into this card? You could talk to the dragon, tell him to name himself, right? Yes, for sure. Definitely. And see everything people think no one sees. Yes, 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 for sure. Absolutely. I have to admit, I've not meditated while pathworking. Yay! Well, good. I'm glad you're excited to try it. Here is the Two of Wands. I love this one because for this one, we can kind of be on the outside looking in. We don't necessarily have to interact with everything going on here. We can just be a secret spy if we want. We don't have to go through this door. We can just be kind of secretly watching what happens. That's okay too. We don't have to go all the way in. We may just want to take a look. This is the Seven of Cups, the talking flowers, you know, who kind of look down on stupid little Alice. She doesn't know anything. I always imagine talking about what happens when you lose your petals and you're no longer as beautiful as you think, you stupid fucking little judgmental flowers. But again, I can see this. I can smell it. I can feel it. And there's several different ways to go about this. Are you going to be Alice? Or are you going to meet Alice in the card? I hear geese. This is the first time I'm hearing geese. Yes. Are you going to be a flower and turn your nose down at Alice and tell her what a silly little girl she is? But if you go in with what you see, not what you know, it could be joyful. It could be joyful. Absolutely. It could be gorgeous. Geese here are so confused. I bet. Absolutely. It could be. Bonestone and Earth Flesh. Great pathworking deck. I've talked about this one before on the channel when we did our admin working a couple weeks ago. Here we have, this is the Five of Pentacles. This, to me, I actually pulled this card out because it reminded me of Ukraine, of what's going on in the Ukraine. It's all these people huddled trying to find safety. Families trying to find safety from the horrible things going on outside. This one really reminded me of Ukraine. This one is the Seven of Cups. This is the merchant inviting you in. Come on in, let me show you what I have. Let me show you all the goods that I have. I've got some cool magical things for you. So now what could we manifest with this card? We could practice bargaining with people. I know I've taken people on thrifting trips who never bargain, who feel uncomfortable bargaining. And so this would be a good card to go through and say, okay, come on. This is oh, thank you, Kay. I love you. Don't buy the beans. You're so cute, Kay. I love you. This would be a great card to go into to practice bargaining with someone. To practice saying, okay, what if I get a couple things? Can you give me a better deal on that? Because he's obviously a very wise bargainer. Love that one. This is the Four of Swords. So this is the rest card. Hell yeah, I'm going into that card. Hello. Joe was talking about this last week when we mentioned pathworking. Joe was like, yeah, I got a couple I can, right? Remember our Sabbath tarot with all the naked men? Woo! Hell yeah. There are lots of different reasons to go into a card. Someone's waiting there for you that you really would like to see. Enhance your fantasy world. Hell yeah. This one is the Wheel of Fortune. And this is the Norns. The Norns, the Norns that weave your fate. Hell yeah. I want to go. I have so many questions for the Norns. Why did you weave this into my story? Why didn't you weave this into my story? I mean, even though as an adult, I look back and I'm like, okay, you always talk about, I don't have a whole lot of like, I wish that didn't happen. I don't have a whole lot of that, but there's always some that you're like, yeah, but really? Did I have to go through that? Yeah, conversation. Oh, I would love to have a conversation with the three Norns. Absolutely. For sure. This was a good one. This is the Eight of Wands, which is all about motion. This is one of the best cards I've ever seen for pathworking, for absolute moving forward. Boy, can you see yourself? Can you feel the wind? And maybe it's because I'm an air person, but boy, I can feel the wind in my hair. Riding on that horse, hearing the hooves as it strikes the ground, feeling the wind in your hair, feeling the muscle of the horse and how it strains as it runs, the sound, the smell of the sweat from the horse, I can feel that. Dothraki, yes! Oh, yes, the Dothraki. With the Norns thinking of manifesting, you could ask them to teach you how to weave something in. Oh, love it. Hell yeah. I got the air conditioning on so I can feel the wind. Yes, thunder. Oh, so much. Yes, hear that. The thundering hoofs. I just noticed the people on the horses. See? There's all kinds of things that you can feel. There's so many with this one. Some decks that you would not expect to be pathworking decks, that there are cards in that I go, this one. I want to go into this one. True Black. True Black for me is one of those decks. This is the Magician card in True Black. Now, does it have to be like a, how do I want to say this? Does it have to be a vision of what we see only on this plane? No. To me, this is a card of a plane of existence that I would love to go visit. It's about light and dark. It is not a whole lot of color. There's just a little, it's light and dark. And there's a little color mixed in with that. But this is a reality that is not on the same plane as us, right? That doesn't mean you can't pathwork in it. This is a magician I want to go see. I want to ask him how he manifests some of the things he manifests that I just have never been able to figure out, that I know he can figure out, that I know he's got the touch for. I know he can teach me things. The card with the horses reminds me of the scene in The Last Unicorn when the unicorns are coming in on the waves. So pathworking could also bring out and connect you to memories. Oh, so much. Yes. Ever enter as a non-human? Yes. Absolutely. I have MA before. Yes. Feels so small. He's a giant. That's wonderful. I didn't even think about him being a different size here, but absolutely. He may be a giant. And how cool to stand in front of the giant. I love that. Love it, love it, love it. There's several cards in True Black that I would do that with. Temperance. Temperance is a great one. As a Libra, I long for balance. So there is such a look at, I don't know if you can see the yin yang in the back, the red hand and the white sphere, the white hand and the red sphere. This is all about balance, and she has more balance she can teach, right? So absolutely. A light for me is a big deal. So it's, there's something about cards that you can see exactly where the light is coming from and the quality of the light that I find very easy to work with. Okay, so that's True Black. As I said before, Modern Spellcasters. I love this deck for pathworking. This is one that I use a lot for pathworking. Look at, this is the Knight of Swords. I want to ride the white bison, buffalo. I would, can you imagine how much power you gain riding the white bison? Come on. Thank you, yes. Hell yeah, you want to manifest power into your life? Hop on his back. How can you not manifest that power when you're riding him? Oh, come on. That is pure power. Red hair reminds me of blood flow. Could be good for blood health related. Yes, absolutely, Trisha. Yes. The power that you feel just from being in this. Yes, 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 yes. This one is the Six of Swords. And come on, would you ask that ferryman questions? Hell yeah. Mama just wants to ride something. Yeah, maybe. Reminds me of Macbeth. Yes, Sarana, absolutely. So the ferryman specifically in this one, I'm sure the woman has stuff to say too, but my eyes always go to the ferryman. He has seen and facilitated the journeys from someplace not so great into a more enlightened path that, to me, I so want to ask him questions. What's in the box? Oh, I love that. I want to say to him, and look, I love that he sees probably without seeing, right? My guess is he's blind. So what could he see in this? You've inspired me to design my own oracle cards. Yay! I'm in the process of creating the writing on the front of them, and soon I'll be doing the art too. Yay! Yes! Oh, I hope you show me. Yay! Yes! Looks like she's trying to manifest her Nematon. Yes, that's been stuck in the box. I love it. Yes, he has complete control even though he's blind. Absolutely. This is the Four of Swords. This card is normally about rest. Here she is able to rest because the four corners of her being are guarding her, are protecting her. These wolves of power are here on guard, saying nothing will hurt you. You go ahead and rest. Boy, could you get a kind of rest that you had never gotten before with these four pillars of strength protecting you. I know I could. Woo! Boy, could I. And to me, here, Scotty lives up here. Scotty lives up here. The candle in the shoe, isn't that great? So just to feel, you feel the wind, the crisp, cold on your cheeks. Love it. Love that one. This is the Two of Swords. Oh, she has the yin yang on her shirt. She is in balance. Look at the strength on her face. Oh, does she have something to teach you? Boy, could she teach you some self-confidence, some guts, the ability to stand up for yourself and say, fuck yeah, urus. Oh, yeah, she could. Absolutely, she could teach you urus. The determination. Here she is in the snow and the mountains, and she's in a tank top because she doesn't feel the cold. She's that powerful. Love that. Plus, she has backup. Yes, right? So are you guys getting the idea? I don't want to spend tons of time. Oh, I do want to. Okay, there's a couple. There's Green Witch. There's the Forest of Enchantment deck. There's some great cards on Forest of Enchantment to do pathworking with. Almost any deck, you can usually find at least one card that you're like, oh, I want to jump into that card. I want to jump into that card. Some decks, look at that one. Oh, yes. Some decks will purposely have a group of cards so that you have lots of detail about a specific event, okay? And the Alice Tarot is one of those. The Alice Tarot has a whole group of cards about the tea party that Alice attends. And so I was just in closing, before we get to the actual meditation part, I just want to show you the tea party and how much information, if you use this deck for pathworking into Alice's tea party, how much information you have at the start before you even get there. Okay, ready? So here's some of the tea party. Look, we can see the house. We can see the Mad Hatter. We can see the food. We can hear his laugh. We can feel the green of the grounds here. Here we have the March Hare. The March Hare, we can now see the teapot that the dormouse will be coming out of. We can see more of the food. We can see the tablecloth. We can see the opposite end of the house. This is the Alice deck. Yes. Not as far as I know, you can't yet. The other thing I could say is eBay. Watch eBay. But it is an extremely expensive deck now that it's out of print again. Here, now we can see more of the March Hare. We see where Alice is sitting at the table. We see the kind of chairs that they're in. The trees that are surrounding. A little bit different angle of the house. Was that Gene Wilder? It is not. It is not. It's someone that kind of reminds us of that. Here we see, again, here's the Mad Hatter. We see more of his chair. We see more of what's in front of him. We see the stopwatch from the White Rabbit. Here we see the dormouse. So we get a close-up view of the dormouse in the teapot. We see, exactly. Can you taste those cupcakes? I can. I can taste them. My mouth is watering. Can you feel the heat of the tea? Can you hear the clanking of the teacups? We get a little bit different angle. We get to see more of the table, perhaps one of the chairs where we will sit when we go. we get a close-up of the pat of butter inside the stopwatch. And finally, we get the dormouse as he comes out of the teapot and sits in his little chair. Right? So I love, keep an eye out for decks that sometimes will give you a whole bunch of information, enough so that you can really visualize, hear, taste, smell, be in that setting, in that space before you even put yourself there, right? So there's lots of decks that do that will give you a couple different angles. So it's not quite that many cards, but like I know the Forest of Enchantment deck has two different views of their Fool card, which is the white heart. So here's the Fool, and the Wide World, which is the World card. See, we have the beginning and the end. So we have two different viewpoints of where the white heart hangs out. That gives you two different viewpoints of where you could follow the white heart to. I jumped into the butter card. I'd be searching for a biscuit. Oh, can you taste that sweet cream butter? Yes, the beginning and the end. And what kind of journey can you go on with the white heart from the beginning till the end, when he brings you through the forest and out into the clearing and you see what's left waiting for you? Ah, come on. There's so much there, right? Okay. All right, so I want you to get into a comfortable position. We're going to do a meditation. I'm going to show you. This is the card. This is the Hermit card for Modern Spellcasters Tarot. This is kind of your inspiration for the meditation that we're going to do. Okay. Some of the imagery is from the Rider-Waite Hermit. So you all know what the Rider-Waite Hermit looks like, right? I didn't pull one. I'm sorry. Think of, Led Zeppelin's cover. I also love about the Wide World card is that it's also the end of the forest, but the beginning, yes, of the entire rest of the world. That's right. Kind of hard to get comfortable in skinny jeans. Well, unbutton them. Okay. So I'm using a book called Tarot Awareness. Yes. Yep. Absolutely, Kay. Here we go. It's called Tarot Awareness. This is from Stephen Walter Sterling. And there is an entire book of guided meditations based on each tarot card. It's a good book. Okay. So I want you to get comfortable. Kind of shake it out for a second. Notice your breathing as you slowly inhale and exhale. With each breath, let yourself feel more comfortable and more relaxed. Let the tensions of the day begin to fade and feel all the tightness in your muscles wind down and melt away. Notice the rhythm of your breathing. Exhale slowly and release more tension, the stress, the tightness. When you inhale quietly, Notice a cleansing purity entering your personal atmosphere. Exhale and feel more relaxed. Repeat this conscious breathing a few more times. Inhaling relaxation, exhaling tension, stress, tightness. You will notice that your body begins to feel lighter. Your neck has lost all stiffness. Your shoulders relax. Your arms, your back, your legs. Let your whole being relax. Allow the last remaining tensions to drain out through your feet and drift for a moment into a total state of peacefulness. You now find yourself alone, stumbling in the dark, a pilgrim climbing up an icy gray mountain. You shiver from the cold wind, but you never lose your determination to ascend. Then above you, on a snow-covered ridge, you behold the vision of the hermit. Atop the mountain you see his lamp glowing as if it was a six-pointed star, and lighting up the entire mountain peak. As your eyes adjust to the brilliance of his lamp, you focus on an aged, light-filled countenance looking at you from under a slate blue hood. Earnestly you say to the person in front of you, "Help me, Father, for it seems that I am lost." Then in a voice through clinking chimes, the hermit says, "My dear one, look at me and see all that you have become, and cast your burden into my light." "But Father," you say, I know not how." Be who you are. Rise above your doubt. Express yourself in abundant joy. He raises his lamp, and with great benevolence, he smiles down upon you. Bring forth your own light and kindle it with ever-flowing loving kindness. And always remember, you are not lost, my child, for I will light the way, and the veil of unknowing shall lift from your eyes. The vision of the hermit begins to fade, and you feel a new awareness. Your spirit rises blissfully in the hermit's diffusing light. And when you are ready, you open your eyes and are relaxed and feel inexpressible comfort and peace. So when you're ready to come back to us, to be here on this plane of existence, tell me what you think the hermit represents for you. There could be some different answers here. But I want to hear, this is the crux of pathworking, is what the hermit is going to mean to you. What was the hermit representing in your life? Hi, Linda. Taking away my depression. Ooh, I love it. Ancestor, love that. Yes. Hi, Leolyn. Taking away depression, self-loathing. Beautiful. Absolutely. Anybody else? What did that hermit represent? And I need to be more outgoing, accept change, step out of my comfort zone. I like it. I think for me it symbolized a grandfather guide, figure of higher self that I never grew up with. I love that. I couldn't connect. That's okay. It's all right, Stephen. Sometimes we can't. And you have to, that may not have been the card for you. That's okay. Higher self. So what I got from it was higher self was my deities, was sometimes the best version of myself, the best version of myself that knows that. A lot of times it's information that we know. It could have been your spirit guides. It could have been an ancestor. Because I thought I drifted off a bit. That's okay. It's okay. It's okay. Hermit kind of dissolved in dream. That's all right. So a lot of times, though, it is stuff that we already know, but we are reminded of. And I will say also that it's hard to do this on YouTube, especially on a live video where people are coming in and out. And normally it would be a longer process to get there, and then to look around and feel and hear and smell and taste and see, all that kind of stuff would be a longer process. It's hard when it's a live video to get into that presence of being. Hi, Lene. And that's okay. So, but that gives you an example of something that you could do with pathworking, with a card. You could be in that card. You could use that to better yourself, right? So everybody get at least an idea of how you could use this to manifest something more for yourself. Hopefully. It was very low. When the question came up, his answer to me was, haha, you are right where you are meant to be. I love that. Kay says, Joseph, hush up. I can't see. Kay says, I pulled the meditate card from the Earthly Souls and Spirits this morning. This must have been a sign for the need to. Yay. Oh, good. Good. So hopefully that gives you an idea of how pathworking can work. There are so many different ways to do it. Now, I would recommend a million different things to you if I could, actually recommend a million different things. Ask someone you know and trust to speak a guided meditation into being and give it to you. You can do a guided meditation for yourself into a recorder, into your phone or whatever, and then listen to it back when you're ready to actually do the meditation. You can have soft music in the background, and just see what brings you there. The pathworking is the action. Pathworking is the action of jumping into the card that you have chosen. You choose a card. The pathworking is the process of jumping into it, being there, and it is either you're actually astral traveling or meditating to be in this situation and see what this card has to say to you. Or you might know already, I want to manifest this, and I think this person can help me get that. So you jump into that card and you find out what they have to say to you. I do recommend writing some notes afterwards on what you heard, what you saw, what you felt, what you learned. I definitely recommend writing some notes afterwards. Writing down something to say, this is what I felt. This is what I saw. Even if you don't think you got your answer from that card, write down a little bit about what was around you. When would you do this? Whenever you want, Fatima. I think it's a great practice to do just as a stress relieving practice. But I specifically think it's a great practice to use to manifest how you want your life to look, to manifest that. I have found great success in specifically telling the card what I want to learn from that card. Having soft music, usually I really like wood pipes, pan flutes, what Pan uses. Wood flutes. I like that music for pathworking. That's just me. It might distract some other people. I know some people are like, nah. Some people want percussion. That's okay. Have something in the background that is some kind of rhythm or volume that can take you into that kind of a meditation, a traveling state. And allow it to happen. Allow it to see what happens. I would say if you're a person who normally falls asleep meditating, then stay sitting up. Because this is an action. It's a verb. Pathworking is a verb. It is an action that you're taking with a card to try to manifest something in your life. Manifest a better outlook. Manifest prosperity. Manifest understanding. Manifest whatever it is you're trying to manifest. It is something you're trying to manifest for yourself. I almost feel like this gives you a better reading than the card itself. Yes, and as a byproduct, you're right, Jess. As a byproduct, sometimes you understand that card so much better, having gone into the card, looked around, asked questions, interacted with the card itself. Suddenly you have a whole new understanding of what that card means. For sure. I have a question. I've never worked with ancestors. I've never felt connected to them in terms of biological family. Do they have to be blood connected, or can they be completely different? Yes, they can be completely different. And don't forget that your ancestral line may not be all the people that you think of as your ancestral line. Your ancestral line includes millions of people that you have never met, because it is the ancestors of your ancestors of your ancestors. It can also be your past lives. The ancestors you had in your past lives are a part of your ancestral line. So blood does not necessarily have anything to do with it. It's okay. I do it at night. I think it's easier to connect when it's just candlelight. Yes, I love the flame. Absolutely. A lot of people focus on a flame. If you are a water person and you want to have like a fountain or turn the sink on a little bit to hear that flow of water, sometimes that helps people. Yes, yes, yes. Any questions? Any questions? Does anybody like have no idea what we've been talking about at all? Blood isn't always thicker than water. Yes. Especially when you make your own family. That's right. When you have your chosen family. That's right. Thank you for sharing. I'll be experimenting with pathworking. That's the best news ever. Just to say, yes, I want to go experiment with this pathworking thing. That's amazing because it's an amazing practice. It's something that I think you can learn so much about yourself and others, about your path, about how you work, right? I honestly have no idea what next week's Tarot Tuesday is going to be about. I don't have a clue. It's been such a weird, busy week that I haven't had time to sit down and think about it. So how did you come to learn about pathworking? Oh, that's a good question. I'm trying to remember in my tarot practice who first brought that up. It must have been someone that brought it up. And I investigated it. The shaman that I go to for my drum circles and stuff, he is very good about astro traveling and stuff like that. I've learned a lot of that kind of stuff from him. I can't remember how exactly it started, to be honest with you. I don't know if I remember exactly how, but I'm sure somebody brought it up, and just like everything else, you kind of go down that rabbit hole of how do you do this? Where's it going? How, all that. Yes, does not need to be one specific way. Thank you for this, Jen. I'll do it with my meditation. Good. I see other pagans or magical guides or deities. Yes, absolutely. And that's absolutely fine, for sure. It does not need to be ancestral work. It can be, your guides, your deities, absolutely, for sure. So I'm not sure what next week's Tarot Tuesday is going to be about. Stay tuned and we will see. I had some ideas and now I can't remember what the hell they were. It's been a super weird, busy week. Like I haven't had a moment. My Sunday was so busy. Normally that's my day off. My Sunday was so busy. I think I had maybe 5 minutes in between this thing and then this thing and then this thing and then this thing. And so it's been a weird, busy, crazy week. But I'm hoping March is here. It's gonna lift a little. February is over. Next week will correlate with tarot. Yes, there's so much for us to do. We have a lot to go over. So maybe we'll do a different spread. I don't know. We'll see. Okay, yes, Insight Timer. I can't say that enough. It's a great, great, great app. I love that app. Ancestors scare me because I'm not sure. I want to hear what they will say. Oh, honey, all I can say is I understand feeling like that, but your ancestor line, from my understanding in working with my ancestral line and other people's, I can tell you that your ancestral line has always felt a responsibility to leave behind help for you. And their sole purpose in adding themselves to your ancestral line was to help those who've come after you. So they're not trying to fuck with you. They're not trying to do anything bad. They are trying to help you, guide you through this life, as as much as they can. And their job now that their time on this plane is over, their job is to help those in their ancestral line move forward towards the path of being their best, truest self as much as they can. So it's nothing to be afraid of. But I understand that. Takes a lot of practice. Yes. If you can focus on listening to your breathing. Yes, absolutely. My cat snuck a piece of pork from my plate while I was meditating. Oh, how nice of her, right, Kay? Ah! Yes. After she jumped on your head. I'm adopted. Yes, that idea. Yes, I can. Exactly. And Mel's adopted. So she has a kind of a very physical, I don't know if I want to do that. And so I hope this is okay, Mel. But I think it is because I'm not really revealing anything. What we kind of talked about a little bit was skipping the immediate people who she would, maybe interact with, kind of skipping a couple generations and connecting with ancestors down the line a little bit. So that maybe for her, she doesn't really want anything to do with those ancestors, her biological parent and that kind of thing. So maybe skipping a couple. And if you think of it more as down the line, maybe it won't be quite so scary. The people that you knew that, maybe judgy people who were judging how you live your life or something like that. If you skip a little bit down the line and start there and go backwards, maybe it's not quite so daunting to you. Is there a Kellyanna song that can help meditate on pathwork? Oh, I love, Kellyanna has a couple good chanting songs. And to me, the chanting songs are the ones that you don't have to really think about, like the Ancestor song and my brain is going to skip right over what I'm trying to say. But the ones that are very repetitive chanting songs, those tend to be really good pathworking songs because you don't have to think about what they're saying. How can I better discern between sudden anxiety flutters and an intuitive sign? Sometimes they feel the same, and I've been getting a lot of it recently. Sudden anxiety flutters. So, yes, I would say it's the more important thing to do is to work on the anxiety itself and how you perceive anxiety. And I know that's easier said than done. But the root of the anxiety is usually fear of being judged, fear of someone seeing something that you don't want them to see, fear of vulnerability. And so if you work on that part of the anxiety, so that when you feel that tug of, that, ancestor is trying to tell me something, I'm supposed to go look over here, I'm supposed to investigate this more. It shouldn't come with anxiety. It should come with a curiousness, a knowing of this thing. Hey, I'm trying to get you to see. Try to look outside yourself. Try to look into this thing. For me, ancestral guidance does not really come with judgment, because once they leave this plane, your ancestors, as judgy and awful as you think they may have been while they were on this plane, I have found anyways, my personal experience is that they suddenly lose all judgment because they can see, they get a wider look of what actually happens, and their reason for judgment is gone. It's gone. There is no judgment anymore. Does that make sense? Thank you, Fatima. And Trisha, I totally understand, and I can see why some people would not want the ancestors, their close ancestors, to come through. So you can literally kind of put a block around them in your spirit mind. Put fencing around those that you knew and start at the end of the fence. Ask your ancestors from the end of the fence on to come in and help guide you. Yes, I have made connections, and it is one about the information they feel you need from a loving, caring place. Yes, so much, so much, so much. Yes. Okay, I hope that makes sense. I love you guys so much. I thank you for coming again on our Tarot Tuesday, and you know, I learn a ton from you guys too. So I always love my Tarot Tuesdays. Thank you. Click that like button on the way out. And please do join me next time. I don't know what the fuck it's going to be on. I can't remember. So we'll take a look. I'll try to take a look between, I'll be honest with you, it probably won't be up until Thursday because tomorrow is an extremely busy day. Tomorrow we're going to be on YouTube. We're going to have a sale on YouTube and then an evening sale on the Facebook page. All right. Thank you so much. I love you guys. You're amazing. Good night. Happy Tuesday.